Caitlin, Cheryl Miller, and Sue Bird here. Wow, what an incredible game. What did it take for your team to get over the hump in the end there?
Man, well, we found a way to make it really hard. So I guess give us credit for persevering through that and, just finding a way to win. But, man, the end of the game was fun. It was exciting. And you got to give them credit. They really battled. They kept fighting. And it just speaks to their team and the group that they have. Obviously Kiki goes down and just next man up. And, we had, I think, 14 or 12-point lead at halftime. And they never went away. They kept battling and battling. And like you guys said earlier, they shot the ball really well. We were rotating off people. We were reading, and then they made us pay when we would rotate. So got to give them credit, but we made plays down the stretch to get the win.
Hey, Caitlin, it's Sue. Speaking of making plays down the stretch, we were just talking a little bit about the missed free throws. We're going to skip over that.
Oh,
but
no,
I
that
am
was terrible.
curious.
That's not okay, Sue.
I am curious. That happens in the moment. You have to go back on defense. You guys create a steal. Now you get the ball back. So that redemption moment, like how are you able to stay focused? You were able to find your teammate, AB, on the run for a layup. How do you stay focused even though you had a little bit of a disappointing moment with the free throws?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just next play. Like there's still 35 on the game clock, and we know we're definitely going to get the ball back. So I think just one stop, and I think it was a 1-point game at that point. So and then got the run out layup and kind of made a dig, and then made Shakira. I don't know if she got the shot off or just turned it over, but just keep fighting. Like 35 seconds is a lot of time. That's in basketball. It's a lot of time left, especially with the amount of timeouts and resets we have now. So just kept fighting, and then obviously. We make the layup, we come down and foul, and then I go to the free throw line and miss. And then we drop a play. But those are plays we work on literally every single day in practice. So it was a great pass by Sophie. She's been great in late game situations, especially side outs, and she made a great pass.
Caitlin.
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo, and we all talk about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So first of all, I want to apologize to the audience because I haven't been dropping that much content in the last week, but I have a very good reason. I was at my best friend's wedding in Nigeria, and it was an amazing experience to not only be in Nigeria for the first time in my life, but to be included in such a beautiful wedding. But I'm back home in the States, and I'm ready to drop more content. So let's start with Caitlin Clark. Right now, there are entirely two different versions of Caitlin Clark that exist in the sports ecosystem. The first version lives on your timeline, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter. It's the version where every missed shot is proof she can't handle the pressure, every defensive lapse is a national crisis, and every bad shooting night is dissected by a panel of talking heads, like it's a political debate. It's really that bad, and it makes her, by a long shot, the most scrutinized athlete in professional sports today. Then you have version 2, and that's the version we saw in the final 4 seconds of last night's crazy basketball game. Yes, the NBA Finals was on, but I'm talking about the Indiana Fever versus Washington Mystics game, in which Caitlin Clark showed why she will always be must-see TV. The Fever were facing a terrible road loss to the Mystics, but Caitlin Clark caught a cross-court inbound pass, which her defender gambled and missed, and stepped into a cold-blooded 32-foot signature logo 3 to win the game for the Fever, 78-76. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything Caitlin Clark, good, the bad, and the ugly. So with Caitlin Clark, it's just the fact that no matter what she says or does, the NBA community will break it down to the bare minimum. Every expression, every non-expression, every argument, every smile has been put through a microscope. Now, this has gone on for her entire WNBA career so far, but this season just feels different. I'm talking about both sides of the court. I'm talking to Caitlin Clark haters and her defenders. Now, myself, I'm a huge Caitlin Clark fan. I've made positive and negative videos on her, so I'm not dismissing my role in what's going on with her. But to say the discourse has been fair and balanced, that would be a lie. It's been crazy to see, and it's something we can't ignore. In only her 3rd year in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has moved the conversation surrounding the entire league in a direction nobody saw coming. New eyeballs came to the league, and to be honest, a lot of people in the league were not ready. Now, they should have been because of what she was able to do at the University of Iowa, but that just goes to show how the WNBA works. They just have no foresight. You promote the best thing to happen to the league at all times. But the league wanted to treat Caitlin like any other good WNBA player, and that's just a bad approach. The NBA has always leaned into the stars, whether it was Bird, Magic, Jordan, or LeBron. The NBA knows how to sell a product. It's the complete opposite for the WNBA, and it hurts everything surrounding the league. Now, let's talk about the narrative entering the matchup against the Washington Mystics. The Fever were hovering around the 500 mark. The internal basketball talk was dominated by offensive system friction, coaching choices, and spacing issues. Now, to be fair, I think all of those issues are a problem. The offense the Fever run is very elementary, and it does not play to Caitlin Clark's strengths. Everybody knows Caitlin, she wants to run and gun. She needs the ball in her hands to be effective, and that's always going to be her superpowers. And the offense she's in now is a slow down motion offense that takes the ball out of her hands. It's boring and it makes the team predictable on offense. I think that's why you've seen Caitlin more frustrated on the court. She's being handcuffed. And that showed last night. It wasn't a pretty performance by Caitlin and the Fever. This was a classic grind it out type of game. Now, early on, things looked completely under control. Caitlin came out firing, dropping 10 points in the first quarter alone, helping anchor a dominant first half that saw Indiana build a comfortable lead. But that just didn't last long. The Mystics adjusted and made a comeback and actually took the lead late in the fourth quarter. And that's where things got a bit crazy. Caitlin Clark missed 2 critical late game free throws, and at that point, you could only imagine what the talk was going to be about. She's not clutch. She choked under pressure. I keep telling y'all she's overrated. It was going to happen. However, Caitlin showed why she's so polarizing. After the Mystics took the lead late, Caitlin caught the ball from Sophie Cunningham. She was calm, collected herself, didn't panic, and hit the game-winning 3-point shot. It was amazing to see. The arena erupted, and the Fever went on to defeat the Mystics 78-76. Caitlin Clark finished the game with 19 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds. Looking at the stats, it won't go down as one of her best games in her young career. She struggled with fouls, turned the ball over, and missed those clutch free throws that are very uncharacteristic of her. But that's just what makes her a superstar. She hit the game-winning shot. Under the heaviest of spotlights in basketball, Caitlin reminded everyone that no matter how much noise surrounds her on the outside, when it's time to call game, she's exactly who she thinks she is. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
Well, you're talking about the ball being slippery, but it didn't look like it. I saw a lot of me bounds out there, Angel. And just for you to get your 57th double-double, the company that you're able to put your name in with Blake Griffin, Tim Duncan, Tina Charles, the greats, what does it feel like to continuously, with each double-double, to move up the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter unless I get a win. I was able to get a lot of double-doubles my first 2 years, but it feels good when you get a win. So I'm really happy to be with the dream. I'm really excited, and we continue to march on for this Commissioner Cup.
Thanks so much for your time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Offensive rebounds kind of in the last 2 minutes. You've been on the positive side of that before with her as your player.
Yeah.
Now going up against that, just kind of what fresh perspective do you get coaching against her in an actual regular season game?
Oh, I don't think it takes a game coaching against her once you've coached her to appreciate what she brings on a nightly basis. It's really remarkable to watch. And I mean, she's showing continuous improvement each year in her game, no matter what aspect of it is. I think you saw a lot of the playmaking progress last year, and now you're seeing some of the shot making and her being able to step outside and feel comfortable taking those shots. So she's adding something to her game. She's a competitor. She's a winner. She's a fighter. She's in a really, really good situation for her to continue to thrive and to compete for a championship.
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo, and we gotta talk about Angel Reese. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So Angel Reese returned back to Chicago for the second time since she was traded away to the Atlanta Dream. Now, when she came back the first time, the game didn't count as it was only a preseason game. Now, I was there in person at Wintrust Arena to see how the atmosphere was going to be, and let's just say I really wasn't that impressed. It wasn't a sellout crowd like I anticipated, and the crowd wasn't even that amped up. However, they did give Angel Reese a tribute video, so you got that. Anyways, her return back to Chicago counted this time, and she did not disappoint. To be honest, she really dominated the Chicago Sky. In that game, Angel Reese finished with 17 points, 17 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. She outplayed her matchup in Camila Cardoso and may have proved that the Sky may have made a mistake and traded her away.
While Chicago,
She lost her shoe.
yeah, oh my goodness. It still remains in the paint. Inside to Angel Reese. Roster this year, Nas Hillman already with 8 points. Kicks it over to Reese. The look for 3. She tries it. Back over to Reese, who's already knocked down a 3. Thought about it, decides to put it on the floor. Spin move, the finish at the cup. Top scorer for the Dream. The kick out, open look in the corner for Nas Hillman, who hit on it. Howard working, finding Reese, clearing the way and puts it in. This season, or rather 8 of the season. And deflected there by second. Working with 5. Flips it over. What an extra pass there from Reese and Nas. Rebound. In the closing minute, the find there from Howard to Reese.
Now, let me focus on the Sky for a second because as of late, they have been playing bad basketball. On the season, the Sky have a record of 4-8. Now, the crazy thing is, it's actually very easy to pinpoint the moment the season went downhill for the Sky. Once Rickea Jackson tore her ACL early in the season, the Sky so far haven't been able to recover. Before the injury to Rickea Jackson, the Sky were 3-1 and were looking like one of the better teams in the WNBA at the time. Well, that's over with now, and it's only a matter of time before major trades take place in Chicago. As a Sky fan, I am disappointed because the potential is there, but things happen that you can't foresee, and that injury really set the Sky back. Now, in regards to Angel Reese, she led the Dream to a 82-75 victory over the Sky in the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup game. Like I said earlier, she dominated the Sky. With another double-double under her belt and a team in the Atlanta Dream that looks like they could win the WNBA title this year, it's safe to say the Dream won the trade versus the Chicago Sky. Now, at the time, I was a fan of the trade, and I'm still not upset the Sky made the move. It makes sense all around, and I understood the vision the front office had when they decided to trade Angel Reese for multiple draft picks. But in the short term, the Dream came out on top. Her skill set and energy on the court is exactly what the Dream needed. The guard play is excellent, and Angel Reese isn't asked to do too much in the offense. Last year, Chicago Sky head coach Tyler Marsh placed an immense burden on Angel Reese. They ran the offense through her, which is always a bad idea, no matter what team she's on. They wanted her to do everything. They wanted her to score, rebound, defend the paint, and act as a primary playmaker. That's not her role or strength, and the Atlanta Dream know that, which is why she is excelling in a reduced offensive role. Now, don't get me wrong, she still does too much on the court, which is why she's averaging 4 turnovers per game. She also is shooting only 15% from three-point range, and I wish they would tell her to stop shooting from outside the paint. Plus, her field goal percentage is really bad, especially for a big. There's just no way she should be shooting 41% from the field because she's such a better player than that. Now, I think those are easy corrections, and she's doing more than enough positive on the court to overlook some of her flaws. So watching this game last night, it showed two teams going in different directions. You have the Atlanta Dream, who are rolling so far this season with 3 potential all-stars. They have a clear identity, and on the court, they always look like they're having fun. On the other hand, you have the Sky, who are free-falling with no positive reinforcements in sight. Like I said earlier, that Rickea Jackson injury sucked the life out of that team, and they haven't been able to recover. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
Threes in the final 2 minutes. This team was desperate for some offense. How were you able to step up and deliver?
I mean, you just have to stay ready. I think in the first half, there's, you're open, but, your teammates are going off too, so you got to give them their flowers, and then you just have to stay ready. And then, minutes are up and down. You play, then you miss a game, and so it can get frustrating at times, but you just have to stay your course, run your race, and I did that, and it was my time to hit my shot, so I did it.
Lots of hugs and celebrations afterwards. How does that feel?
That feels good. For me, I know I can do that. I know I can be that for our team. I'm feeling good. I think Lex had great minutes, and I think that we just have to be that spark. Us others outside of the big three, we got to bring it every single game. And so I'm just proud of our group. I think we finished it. It was kind of getting wonky how it always does with us, but I think you're continuing to see the growth.
Maybe there might have been a situation on the sideline at one point between you two. And it's funny because even after that fact, you're the leading scorer on the team. So, and then there's...
Today? Today?
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
she put the dagger, but you let.
But what sideline interaction? I'm confused.
The thing is that there's reports that it's like the team is a division of the team.
Oh no,
but
we're
clearly when you see on the court and
we're on a 3-game winning streak. We're doing good.
It's for from that.
Damn right.
I mean, if y'all want to address it, I mean, clearly the stats and say tell it all, but
yeah, I think our
if you guys want to address it, please do it.
I don't know if there are reports as much.
I think it's speculation.
I think speculation.
I don't know about reports.
I think you're talking about. I don't think you're talking about journalism. And so if we're going to continue to create news from fans on social media or bots on social media or whatever it may be, then that's a problem, right? I think legitimate news sources need to report legitimate news.
Ooh, I like that. Period. That's all we got.
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo. And we got to talk about the Indiana Fever. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So if you are an Indiana Fever fan, listen to me real closely because I have good news and bad news. Now, the good news is the Indiana Fever are on a 3-game winning streak, and they have won 4 out of their last 5 games. So obviously, you got to give credit when credit is due. They are finding ways to win basketball games. However, the bad news is they are struggling to win those games versus the worst teams in the WNBA. Just look at their last 3 games for the Fever. Now, they won those games, but if you look closely, those wins were not impressive. To defeat the Washington Mystics, Caitlin Clark had to hit a game-winning shot. They were on the brink of losing to a taken Mystics teams and needed a last-second shot to get bailed out. Next, they went into overtime versus the Chicago Sky, who have been in a free fall ever since Rickea Jackson tore her ACL. They let a bench player by the name of Sydney Taylor get 30, and if it wasn't for bad coaching by the Sky, the Fever would have lost that game. And lastly, Jay Judge defeated the worst team in the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun, and if you saw the game like I saw the game, you left unimpressed with anything the Fever did. Now, the thing is, these games should have been comfortable blowout statement wins for a team with WNBA title aspirations. Instead, every single one of those games were dogfights that required late game heroics or overtime to survive. So in this video, we got to address the Indiana Fever playing down to their competition and why these ugly wins are a huge warning sign going forward. So let's really break down these games because it's important to paint this picture that the Indiana Fever are not a serious team. Versus the Washington Mystics, the Fever built a 17-point lead in the third quarter. Against a struggling team, a championship caliber squad puts their foot on the gas and closes the door. Instead, the Fever took the gas off. In the fourth quarter, the Fever completely lost their offensive identity. They stopped moving the ball and allowed Washington to take a 1-point lead with less than 5 seconds left in the game. Like I said earlier, it took a logo 3 from Caitlin Clark just to win that game. So, what happened the next game versus the Chicago Sky? Once again, the Fever started out hot and outscored the Sky by 13 in the first quarter. But then the third quarter came about, in which the Sky scored 39 points in that time frame. Just to win the game in overtime, the Fever needed Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark to drop 30. That's just not sustainable for any team in the WNBA. Now, I just finished watching the Fever vs. Sun game, and I damn near fell asleep watching that game. Just overall, it was a bad product. The Suns are terrible. The Fever offense is garbage. Caitlin Clark cries too much. The coaches don't know what they're doing. It was just all bad, and I'm really not overstating it. So I'll say this. It's great that the Fever know how to fight back and win close games. Doing that is a valuable trait. But there's a massive gap between being a good playoff team and being championship ready. In the playoffs, you won't be playing the Mystics, Sky, or Sun. You're looking at the Aces, Lynx, and Liberty. Those are smart veteran teams that know how to finish a game. So for the Fever to play down to their opponent, it's just not a winning formula. Now, the Fever have the talent on the basketball court. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Bostic are a historic, dynamic duo who will win you regular season basketball games. But to be title contenders, your standards have to be higher. They have to start blowing bad teams out to show they have another level to themselves. Until that happens, you can't take this team seriously. But I know my opinion is not the end all be all, so y'all let me know in the comments. Are the Fever actually a good team because they just find a way to win? Or are they a team that is no threat to win the WNBA championship? Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
Player in franchise history to have back-to-back games with 17. And I know she can't wait till that player to her right comes back because she had to hold it down on the rebounding front. But imagine when you get a Bree Jones back in this one, the front court for Atlanta, just dangerous, the future.
Scary hours if you're thinking about what those two can do on the floor together.
What Angel talk about?
I'm not sure. We need closed captions at the bottom for sure. It looks fun though.
It does look fun.
It looks engaging.
The head
getting set on the offensive glass and how much of a lift that you get those second and third chance opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it helps us. You feel good about taking the shot when you know if you miss it, your teammate's going to clean it up for you. And you know, that third quarter in particular and early fourth, I mean, she was just relentless on the boards, offensive boards, just getting position, grabbing it, putting it back in. Just a great job by her to get us extra possessions.
And obviously, she got off to a little bit of a slow start today, but she really turned it on in the second half. Fourth quarter, I think she had back-to-back end ones. Kind of, what does it say about kind of like her growth as a player to be, but some of those early struggles?
Yeah, I think, you know, just sticking with it. You know, everybody goes through, you know, some tough patches of a game. You just got to keep playing, and just shows if you stay with it, you can, you know, turn it around. And I mean, she turned it around in a big way today.
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo, and we got to talk about Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dream. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So the Atlanta Dream continued to stack up wins this season as they defeated the Toronto Tempo yesterday, 102-77. Now, if you just looked at the box score and missed the game, you would have thought the Dream just dominated the game from start to finish. Well, that was far from the case, and in this video, I'm not only going to break down what happened in that game, but also what we saw from Atlanta Dream forward Angel Reese. So to really understand how impressive that win was, you have to look at how poorly the game started for Atlanta. The Dream went to Toronto and started out the game forgetting how to actually shoot the basketball. The Atlanta Dream missed 19 of their first 25 shots and missed 12 out of their first 13 shots from three-point range. In other words, the Dream started out the game in horrible shape. At the end of the first quarter, the Dream were losing by 12 points. But things changed in the second quarter and the Dream made the necessary adjustments. In that quarter, the Dream exploded for a season high 34 points while shooting 11 for 17 from the field. They turned a 12-point deficit to an 8-point lead at halftime. Now, in the third quarter, that's where things took a left turn. With about 6 minutes left in the third quarter, the Dream had a comfortable lead. In one sequence, Angel Reese establishes deep post position under the rim, seals the defender Isabel Harrison, and catches the entry pass. Harrison, desperately trying to prevent an easy layup, wraps both arms around Angel Reese's shoulders and basically uses her body weight to pull Angel Reese straight down to the floor.
Whoa, whoa, a lot of contact underneath and a very unhappy Angel Reese as this has been brewing since the first quarter. Izzy Harrison and Angel Reese jawing at each other earlier in the game, already picking up fouls in the second quarter against one another, and here it continues in the third.
And right there, that is a absolutely unnecessary foul from Harrison on Reese. And credit Reese and her teammates because that's the angle you got to get the rock into her. She does a good job of sealing, and that frustrates the defense. Harrison can't do anything about it.
Now, after the referees reviewed the play, they ruled it a flagrant 2 foul, and Harrison was ejected from the game. Now, a couple of takeaways from this play. If you look at the online discourse, a lot of people, including myself, don't agree it should have been a flagrant 2 ejection. If we really look at the play and break it down, the defender went for the ball, and it was one of those plays that looked worse than what it really was. But you got to understand, the WNBA is a business, and you have to protect the star players of the league. Angel Reese is one of the faces of the league, so I'm not shocked that the referees made that call. Now, I wish they would protect other faces of the league, like Caitlin Clark, a little bit more, but that's a video for another day. Now, the other thing about that foul was that Angel Reese was visibly crying on the bench after the play.
Like, was that controlled? You know what I mean? This game got really physical really fast. And so, things are going to escalate.
So those two players actually have a history together because they are former teammates with the Chicago Sky. Harrison was Angel Reese's vet in Chicago, so maybe Angel was emotional because she didn't expect that type of play from her. But nevertheless, the play happened, she was ejected, and everybody moved on. And staying with Angel Reese for a second, we have to discuss her performance because on one hand, especially if you only look at the numbers, she had a solid performance. But once again, there are major concerns that I have for her that she needs to correct if the Atlanta Dream plan to make a deep playoff run. In the game versus the Tempo, Angel Reese finished with 15 points, 17 rebounds, with 11 of them being offensive rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. On paper, a great performance. But my concerns are this. She shot 6 for 19 from the field and took the most shots on the team. There's just no way Angel Reese should be shooting the ball more than Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard. For this thing to work, Angel Reese has to commit to being the third option on this team. Big picture speaking, she shouldn't lead the team in shots taken. She's only shooting 41% from the field, which is terrible, especially for someone who only shoots inside the paint. Now, let me show her some love because 11 offensive rebounds is very impressive. She is by far the best rebounder in the WNBA, and I actually expect her to be an all-star this season. So with the win over Toronto, Atlanta is now 9-4 on the season, and they are actually a half game behind the New York Liberty for the top spot in the Eastern Conference. Now, the next step will be for Atlanta to beat the top teams in the WNBA. They have lost to the New York Liberty, Las Vegas Aces, Indiana Fever, and Minnesota Lynx. In order to take the next step in their journey this season, they have to find a way to defeat those teams. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
Of being a true superstar is getting your own signature shoe, and Caitlin Clark now has hers, unveiling the Caitlin 1 collection. The all-blue kicks are complete with her CC logo on the front, and they'll go on sale October 1st. They'll cost $140. Clark said it's been a dream of hers to have her own shoe, and she wanted it to reflect how she plays. Fast, confident, and ready to let it fly.
I gotta ask some questions because I'm such a huge sneaker fan. You said that you're wearing the new kicks coming up this season.
Yeah.
I honestly, for everyone that doesn't know like the process that goes into like making the sneakers, like how long in advance has it been, or like when does it all start? Do they come to you with a shoe, a bunch of shoes? Do you kind of get to tweak them here and there? How is that process?
Yeah, I think it's honestly been like probably one of the coolest things I've got to do since honestly the process started at the end of my senior year when I was at Iowa, because I was deciding what shoe company I was going to go with. And I talked to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, and they all offered me a signature shoe, obviously some faster than others. And, you know, everybody knows Nike makes the best product. It just kind of takes a little bit longer. And so I grew up wanting to be a Nike athlete. Every kid does. Nike, Jordan, like that's the premier brand, and everybody knows that.
The custom Kobe's, yeah.
Oh yeah, the custom Kobe's are fire. I sent like Harry and some of your friends some. They're like testing me. They're like, how do we get that?
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo, and we gotta talk about Caitlin Clark. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So the day is finally here. Nike Basketball just released images and announced the release date to Caitlin Clark's first ever signature shoes, the Caitlin 1. It will be released on October 1st of this year and has a retail value of $140. As of today, there have been 3 confirmed colorways: the Racer Blue, Black Metallic Silver, and Grinch, which probably will be released around Christmas time. Now, fans of Caitlin Clark have been waiting for this day ever since it was announced that she signed an 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike Basketball. Caitlin Clark expressed her excitement about the new shoe in a statement for the Nike press release. Having my own shoe has been a dream for as long as I can remember, and seeing it come to life is pretty incredible. I wanted it to reflect how I play: fast, confident, and ready to let it fly. Nike and I really crushed it. It was a true partnership. Now, my first thoughts when I first saw the images of the shoes were that they looked like a combination of different shoes. It looked like a mix of Ja Morant, Paul George, Giannis, and obviously Kobe Bryant shoes, all mixed in one. Now, this shoe is introducing new technology called Nike OptiCast Upper, an innovative construction of cast PU nodes with varied Z heights designed to reduce drag and enhance on-court movement. Now, as a fan of Caitlin Clark and gym shoes in general, I gotta say that I'm excited that we finally have a release date. With the price tag of $140, for me, it's an easy cop. However, a lot of people were confused because it took so long for Nike to actually promote Caitlin Clark's shoes. An article written by Dan Wessel of ESPN broke down how Nike mismanaged Caitlin Clark. In the article on ESPN.com, Dan Wessel says the following: for more than 3.5 years, though, Nike has mostly kept Clark on the shelf, even as she developed into one of the most popular and marketable athletes in the country. This from a company that built itself by marketing star athletes, especially in basketball. Now, as a consumer of Nike products from shoes and apparel, I was confused as well because promoting Caitlin Clark is such an easy thing to do. She is marketable and well-liked, so it should have been a no-brainer to promote her as much as possible. But it took 3 years for her to finally get her signature shoes, which was a big mistake made by Nike. Sonny Vaccaro, the retired longtime sneaker executive who is most known as the person who signed Michael Jordan in 1984 to Nike, said, "It is one of the biggest failures I've ever seen. She was bigger than Jordan in some ways because she was a known commodity when she entered the WNBA. The public had grabbed onto her like no one else. she is more than just a basketball player. It makes no sense. Now, even though Nike was late to the party, I still believe Caitlin Clark's shoes will sell out. Today, she is still the most popular WNBA player in the league, and her fans will support her as much as possible. Now, did politics play a role as far as why it took so long? Absolutely. The optics of having Caitlin Clark's shoes drop before Asia Wilson's shoes is something I know Nike was scared about. Asia Wilson fans would have thrown a huge fit and accused Nike of racism if Clark's shoes would have dropped before Asia's. That's just a fact. Nike didn't want to deal with that blowback, so they waited 3 years. It is what it is. Nevertheless, I'm excited Caitlin Clark's shoes will be coming out, and yes, I will be grabbing a pair. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
I think it comes down to, obviously you want great teams to take tough shots. I think we kind of lapsed in that area. We got a little too many people involved on their roster. When you think about some of their bench, we let them be active. I think it kind of shot us in the foot a little bit, and it was always hard to catch up.
For either of you again, they scored 60 points in the paint. Just what was the breakdown, close to the basket there?
Yeah, I think in transition they got easy ones, and then I think they had, however many fast break points, 17. So that's, probably that right there contributed to it, and points off turnovers. And I thought a lot of times that's probably on us guards getting into the ball a little bit better, so we don't have to rotate. But I think we could have done a little bit better. We're gonna have to rotate at some point, and we kind of went back to our old ways where that second rotation we didn't get, and then they scored off the 90 cuts and the 45 cuts. So. We got to do better in that area. And like Kelsey said, essentially everybody on their team shot over 50%. It's really hard to win a basketball game when that's the case.
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Bamfo, and we got to talk about the Atlanta Dream and Indiana Fever. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So the Atlanta Dream defeated the Indiana Fever today, 108-101. Now, I got to say that the game was really entertaining. Even though the Dream controlled the game from start to finish, Indiana was always in striking distance, and they were able to tie the game late, but they still eventually lost. Now, I immediately have to show love to Angel Reese because she dominated the Fever on both ends of the court.
Who is going to slow down Kelsey Mitchell? In their last contest, Kelsey either fumbled or turned it over.
Well, we're a minute 40 into the game. She has 4 of them already.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable activity, and nice finish there by Angel.
Angel Reese
nice.
to catch the pass. Borlase coming off that career-high game on Sunday. 17 points. The Australian misses her first shot. Angel Reese going at Hines Allen. Angel strong off the glass for 2 and the foul. 7 of 14 shooting from the field for Caitlin Clark. Reese's first, second half. The miss by Hines Allen, the rebound by Borlase. Hellman thought about the 3, feeds Reese instead with the finish. 9 points. This has been a hurdle the Fever hasn't been able to cross. Reese spins. Oh, nothing but net. 5 minutes left to play. A clutch game for both of these teams. Reese spins and finishes. A cutting Angel Reese. Oh, she gets it. Took the contact and the moment.
Angel Reese finished with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 assist on 8 of 14 from the field. Now, y'all know how I feel about her shooting threes, but in this game, she thankfully didn't shoot any. Now, coming into this matchup, all the talk was about Caitlin Clark and the debut of her new Nike basketball shoes. There really wasn't much talk about the Angel Reese-Caitlin Clark matchup, unlike in years past. Now, for Angel Reese, I see a player that has taken her game to another level these past couple of games. Earlier in the season, she struggled, and I've made videos on her struggles. I can't say anything negative about her now because she's playing really good basketball, and her team is winning in the process. Now, in regards to Caitlin Clark and her performance in the loss, well, if you look at just the stats, you would say she had a really good game as well. Caitlin Clark finished with 26 points, 2 rebounds, and 7 assists on 8 of 17 from the field and 2 of 5 from 3. And yes, on paper, she had a really good game. But I actually watched the game, and her impact was average at best. She was in foul trouble for most of the game, and in fairness, there were a lot of bogus foul calls on her. I wouldn't be surprised if the foul trouble threw off her rhythm, because every time it seemed like she was rolling, she would get a foul called on her, which just threw everything off. Also, her defense wasn't the best, but that's to be expected from her, especially versus the Atlanta Dream and their great guard play. Now, big picture, what did this game mean for both teams? Well, for the Dream, they finally beat a potential playoff team. They lost to this same team just a few weeks ago, so they showed that they have the ability to win versus good teams. This win improves their record to 10-4 on the season, and they continue to show why I think they can win the WNBA championship this season. Now, for the Fever, this loss drops their record to 9-6, and it breaks their 4-game losing streak. Now, the more that I watch the Indiana Fever team, the more I notice just how underwhelming they are. They have a big three that, for some odd reason, can't seem to click on all cylinders consistently. The Fever play zero defense, and their offense is extremely predictable. On paper, the Fever should be a better team, but something has been off with them all season long. As for now, I do see them as a playoff team, but do they have a chance to win the title this season? Absolutely not. Now, both of these teams play each other again on Saturday, so we will see if the Fever can make the necessary adjustments and bounce back. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo, and we got to talk about the Indiana Fever. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So this video is for all Indiana Fever fans because it's a lot going on with that franchise right now, and unfortunately, it's nothing positive. Now, the Fever lost back-to-back games versus the Atlanta Dream, and in both games, they started off playing pretty well, but fizzled out and eventually got blown out. Now, in the beginning of the season, the Fever had high expectations. Last year, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals without their main star in Caitlin Clark. So anything less than that this year will be seen as a major disappointment. With the big three in Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, on paper, that should be enough to compete with the best teams in the WNBA. But that's just not the case at all. So in this video, I'm going to break down the reasons why the Indiana Fever continue to struggle versus elite teams and explain what needs to happen in order to save this season. So let's first evaluate the roster, because after the big three, there isn't another consistent player on the team. They re-signed Lexi Hall and brought in Mo Billings in free agency, but both players have been playing so bad that the coaching staff can't even play them in the fourth quarter. Remember, they have plenty of veterans on this team. This is also a team that features multiple top-tier draft picks and veteran scorers who should be thriving next to Caitlin Clark. Instead, they look completely lost and are underachieving. For example, Aaliyah Boston, who is a former Rookie of the Year and a force in the paint, should be more dominant this season. Now, I'm not saying she's having a bad season, but I have seen a lot of inconsistent play from her that needs to be discussed. Then you have Kelsey Mitchell, who is a top-tier scorer in this league. But the chemistry between her and Caitlin Clark is just not the best. Too many times this season, they have operated as two separate entities on the floor. It's been a your turn, my turn type of offense with those two, and that's not going to work long-term for the Fever. The rest of the supporting cast is just not good. The rookies haven't had an impact whatsoever, The free agents are underwhelming, and overall, it's just a poorly constructed roster that has no chance to win the WNBA championship this season. Now, let me show some love to Sophie Cunningham because she's probably been the most consistent role player on the roster, and she doesn't even start for the Fever. Now, let's talk about the defense because every content creator who evaluates the Indiana Fever like to bring up how bad of a defender Caitlin Clark is. And I'm not going to argue that point. Caitlin Clark is a bad defender, and she needs to get better. There are just no excuses for that. But along with that, the Fever are just a bad defensive team overall. If you watch their games like I watched the games, on too many occasions, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston all struggle defensively. It's not just Caitlin Clark. Every game, the Fever give up at least 100 points, and it's impossible to win basketball games with poor defensive effort night in and night out. There's no point in being a great offensive team when you're so bad on the defensive end. Now, as a final point in this video, we have to discuss the relationship between Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark. Now, I understand during a game, things can get heated, but far too many times, Caitlin Clark and head coach Stephanie White have had bad communication with each other.
Phenomenal job all season long getting to the paint.
Steph. She's ripping into Caitlin Clark in front of everybody. And Caitlin Clark said, I didn't foul anybody. All I did was put my hands up. And she goes, all right, if you don't want to listen to it, Raven, you get in the game. And you could tell Caitlin Clark's pissed. Watch her shake her head like, this is bullcrap. Like, there's nothing I can do about the refs call.
Okay, really good job of finding a way. We started to expand that fist, and then we came back together. All right, that was really good stuff. Now, we know we got a lot of stuff we got to work on, right? We know that. But being able to come away and withstand what we withstood in that run, and to be able to pull together, get some key stops, shot C. Yeah, hell yeah. Great pass, so. It wasn't pretty, okay? It wasn't pretty. We still got room for growth, a lot of room for growth, but great job getting a W on the road.
Yeah, that body language tells me everything. Caitlin Clark is fed up with Stephanie White, and by the end of this season, one of them has to go. There's no other option. As a head coach, Stephanie White isn't good. Just recently, we have watched games where Caitlin Clark was plagued by questionable foul calls that completely changed her aggressiveness on the court. And what did the coach do? Nothing. She never challenges a call when Caitlin is involved, and it's just so bizarre to me. But beyond that, the Fever are a bad defensive team, like I said earlier, and a lot of that goes to coaching. Adjustments have to be made, but Stephanie White seems incapable of making the necessary adjustments throughout a basketball game. So at the end of the day, the Indiana Fever front office has to choose a path. They are either all in on the Caitlin Clark experience, or if they choose to retain the head coach, they have to trade Caitlin Clark. Now, the Fever play today, and I don't even care if they win or lose. These are big picture issues that I'm addressing, and to save the season in any capacity, changes must come as soon as possible. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.